Believe it or not, most people in our 20s don't achieve a consistent $100,000 a year income. I'm going to teach you some steps and guidelines to help you get there and increase in many, many ways. All right, so if you don't know me, I've had several financial companies. I've been in sales most of my life. I've literally been in a place where I've had a lot of success along the way. Done a lot of coaching and helping people in many capacities as well, including helping many wealthy families, helping people save millions and millions in taxes, and a variety of other things. But when it comes to making income, and when it comes to make a consistent 100K, 200K, 300K, 400K plus a year, million plus a year, a lot of folks just don't know how to do that. And in your 20s, if you're someone that is motivated, you want to grow and you want to develop, it can be tough to know what to do. I remember when I was younger and I was in a place where how do I start to make, if I could just make 100 grand a year, that'd be amazing. Then I was like, okay, if I make 300 a year, it'd be amazing. Then if I can make 500, a million, so on and so on and so on. Well, what I realized early on is I started listening to a lot of Zig Ziglar. And one of the things that I learned for me that I think is the number one key role is if you can, and if you're designed in such a way that you can sustain this type of job, get in an opportunity where it is based on your effort. Typically, it's going to be a sales job where you're selling a product and you get paid based on your effort. The disadvantage of that is you're going to be in a place where you're not going to make a lot of salary or income, if any. It might be straight commission. The benefit of that is there is no ceiling. One of the best tools that I've learned over the years is when you actually develop when you develop your skills, when you develop your abilities, you become more attractive to companies. Great example for me, and I don't know where you are in your college journey, but I never graduated from college. I went to Liberty University. I got about 30 credits in. I hung out a little bit. I had to pay for school myself. I literally was in a place where I knew that I had to pay for it, so I ended up selling books door to door. I was knocking door to door 80 hours a week to make my way through, just supporting myself along the way. I got to tell you, that was a great blessing when I look back to that at that time, that my father would not and was not interested at the time in financially supporting me. He said, you're a man, you take care of yourself. Now, at the time, I wanted him to support me, but I'm glad that he didn't. And I just got to be honest with you, I think the best thing that you can do, in addition to putting yourself in this environment and growing you and finding this type of job, is to cut the strings between you and your parents. If they're financially supporting you in any way, cut those strings. Now, I know it's uncomfortable. I get it. Change is stressful, but so is unemployment. So you got to be in a place where you say, how can I move myself to a place where I know that I can grow the skill set necessary to achieve and accomplish things in life? First off, that'll give you a lot of confidence in your own personal life. It'll help you know that you can do these things on your own. You'll just find a new sense of excitement and joy about life by doing these things on your own. It'll also show your parents. I know when I was younger, that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I'll show my dad, I'll show him how I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make this work. What it does is it gives you a greater confidence to step out into things maybe that God's called you to do in life. So let's go back to that job real quick. Low barrier of entry, so to speak, but high potential of income. How can I get myself in a place where I can, again, as I mentioned before, get paid based on my performance? We've all known jobs where you go somewhere and you work somewhere and you get paid an hourly rate. And whether you clean the floor when you're done with your job or done stocking shelves or done doing whatever you're doing, everybody gets paid the same hourly rate. And it can be frustrating because you're there and maybe you're an overachiever and then you're working next to somebody who's not. So one of the benefits of actually working at a job, if you're an overachiever and you really want to grow and develop, that doesn't have a ceiling, and typically that's a sales job, is you're going to be in a place where you have the ability to make unlimited potential. Now, how do you start with that? Because you might say, well, geez, Mike, that sounds great, but I still got bills to pay. I have rent to pay. I have a car payment. I have other things that I need to take care of. My encouragement to you initially would be find a job that is kind of like a sales job, but yet has some kind of base and security to it. A serving job does just that. Working at a nice restaurant. I'm not talking about working at Chick-fil-A, even though there's nothing wrong with Chick-fil-A, and taking the trash out or cooking the sandwiches or doing all these things. I'm talking about finding a nice restaurant. Get yourself a haircut. Get yourself together. Get yourself presented. Buy a Padfolio. Buy a binder where you can take to the job interview and you show up professional. You get this job at a nice restaurant, and now what happens is you have the ability to dictate what you make to some degree based on your performance. I know for me, when I go to restaurants and I'm involved in a lot of different clubs and a lot of high-end places throughout the country that I've been to, I judge how I tip based on the performance. And so this is a great opportunity where you can start somewhere and literally be in a place where you get paid to some degree based on your performance. Also, what this does is it helps you in interacting with people, growing your people skills. Very important in relation to sales. So step one is find an opportunity and find a place where you can increase what you make because it has somewhat of a limitless potential. I think serving is a great opportunity. Then you move from that, and maybe you then go and search and find another job that is 100% commission. So step one, find a job and find a position where you can have more than just an hourly rate. Step 2, and it may be in tandem at the same time, put yourself in a situation where you're listening to sales training and things that are going to help you grow and develop. If you haven't checked out the Michael Wall Show, I haven't done a lot of shows on that in some time, but there's almost 300 shows on that show that actually gives a lot of access and insight to my thoughts, sales training, tips, and ideas of how I see life. So go subscribe to that at Spotify or other channels and listen to some of this content along the way, day in and day out. Change what you're putting into your mind to things that will actually help you grow than just pacifying you on the journey. What do I mean by that? You're driving to work and you're listening to music, or you might be looking at your phone. What is that doing to help you grow in your life? What is that doing to help you develop and become better? The answer is nothing. All you're doing is that music is a placeholder for your mind until you get from point A to point B. What you want to do, Zig Ziglar used to call it this way, Automobile University. For those that are willing and able to take the time to grow their mind, they'll grow to places that others just won't grow. You know why? Because you're willing to do things that others are unwilling to do. It's not a big change. It's actually a small change. But by making some of these small changes in your life, it'll help you grow and develop. When you're at home, instead of just watching Netflix or YouTube or TikTok or whatever you look at or scroll at, get off of that stuff and take some time and use things and listen to things. Again, maybe it's the Michael Wall Show, as I mentioned, some things to help you develop you, your mind, and who you are as a person. What this will do is it'll make you more valuable when a real opportunity arises. Remember, success is when preparation meets opportunity. Imagine being in a place where you are confronted with an amazing sales opportunity and you're going to be able to make a lot of money in doing it, but you've done nothing to prepare yourself. You're not good at communicating with people. You don't have a good confidence in yourself. You're in a place where you're not taking care of your appearance. You are not ready. You have not put in the preparation. You're not in a place that when the opportunity comes, you're going to have the opportunity to take advantage of it, which is why many will never achieve success, unfortunately. So I want to challenge you to prepare yourself in a way that when opportunity arises, you can take advantage of it, and then you in your own life can experience some success. All right, let's talk about another step that will help aid you or help you along the way of being successful. Budget your life and be smart. Listen, if there's anyone that hates living on a budget, it's me. You're looking at them. But at the end of the day, when you are younger and you're learning how to just make money, you have to pick what is your priority. And if your priority is to go out and buy the newest watch or a Louis Vuitton purse, a nice pair of shoes or designer, whatever it may be, you're spending money on something that's making someone else, another company, more rich or richer, instead of taking you down the path of growing you. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things when you've achieved levels of wealth, but how long in your life will you continue to enrich other companies, other people, by you buying their product, which gives you a false confidence of the fact that you've made it, but yet when you walk down the street, you know you haven't made it. You're what we used to call when I was younger, a poser. You're pretending like you're rich, and you're not. Wouldn't it be nice to be in a situation where you can buy whatever you want at some point in time in your life? That's able to be achieved for you. You can have that. You can go get that. But you have to take the steps, and you have to do the things that most people are unwilling to do. Remember, champions are not made on feather beds. You must go through challenging times. In the challenging times, when you're younger, by budgeting and paying attention to what you're spending your money on, you don't need the new iPhone every time it comes out. You don't need the new Apple Watch every time it comes out. You don't need all of these subscriptions to things every time they come out. You need to focus on developing you, because what happens is when you focus on delayed gratification, that is the intentional act of making decisions today so it can benefit you greater in the future. I don't need to go out with my friends 4 days a week and party and grab drinks and go to the most expensive restaurants so I can look rich or just have a great time. Because at the end of the day, here's what you'll find. All you got to do is look around. You'll see people that are in their mid-20s, early 30s, 40s, and even 50s. People that are literally still broke. So that should tell you right there that just because you get older doesn't mean you get wiser. Getting wise is an intentional act. Growing wealth is an intentional act. Making an income that's sustainable over $100,000 a year is an intentional act. And then when you take that money, then you're smart about it so you can grow to the next level. Now, what I'm not suggesting and what I'm not saying, because I know if I heard this when I was younger, I'm 47 right now, I'll be 48, I would have thought, you know what, this guy's talking about me not having any fun. I don't want to do that. I'm only young once. I want to make sure that I can do what I want to do, when I want to do it, as I want to do it, and just enjoy my life, because I'll only be 20 or 25 or 22 or 19 or whatever it is that you are as you're watching this once. That's true. So I'm encouraging you to have fun on the journey, But make sure that you understand this philosophy. In life, everyone pays. You will either pay the price of a lack of discipline by staying poor in your life, or you will pay the price of hard work at a young age and enjoy the fruits of success in your future. The other thing that I want you to know that this whole get-rich-quick success typically doesn't happen. And those that get rich quick lose it fast. Great example of that is winning the lottery. Most people that win the lottery are broke 3, 5, 8 years out. Why? Regardless of the amount of money, by the way. Because they haven't built the muscles to understand what's necessary to actually obtain and retain and grow real wealth. So my challenge to you is to not only start with your income and get it over $100,000, but lead then that into things where you can grow real wealth. Listen, I think if you're younger and your income is under the allotted amount, you want to take advantage of the Roth IRA. Now, the Roth IRA obviously gives you the ability. The Roth itself is not an investment. It's just a covering. When you set up an account, whether it be at Schwab or TD, wherever it is, inside of that account, you can buy different investments, different stocks, different ETFs, and things like that. Now, there are some limitations when you utilize and invest in those accounts, but one of the benefits of it at a young age is it really lets you take advantage of compounding interest over time. Why? Because you pay taxes on what you put in, and you're only able to utilize a Roth or open one up, if you will, when you're younger and you're making less monies, which means you pay taxes on the money, you put it in, and then that money grows tax-free. Very, very important. Instead of opening a traditional IRA, which you get a tax benefit this year, and then the money grows tax-deferred, the benefit of a Roth is the money grows tax-free. The question is, would you rather pay taxes on a small amount or a large amount? I think that's kind of a no-brainer. That's one of the reasons utilizing a Roth IRA makes sense. All right, so the next step that I have for you is learn how to solve big problems. In other words, the larger the problems that you solve for people, the more money you have the ability to make. As an example, one of my companies, we help people save millions and millions and millions in taxes. Okay, so think about this for a minute. If I have somebody that comes to us at that company and we're able to help them save $20 million in taxes, I'm going to be probably charging a pretty large fee on that because I help them save and keep a lot of money in taxes. Versus if I go sell somebody a car, there's nothing wrong with that. I was also a car salesman years ago. I'm in a place where I'm only helping them solve a problem on their day-to-day transportation need. But if I'm helping someone that has a lot of money solve a real problem of how to save a lot of money in taxes, it takes a lot more time. It takes a lot more energy for me and my team and the research that we've had to put together and developed and looking at the code and all of these things to kind of garner the information necessary, or we can help somebody in that capacity save a lot of money in taxes or help wealthy families with their investments. These are all things that builds over time, but you don't start there. You start with something. You've heard it said before, you're not great to start, but you got to start to be great. You got to be in a place where you look at your life and you say, what am I doing right now? If I want to achieve a higher income and greater wealth, what type of occupation, what type of job do I have that is helping me develop as a person? The last thing that I'll say, just to kind of recap, the first thing is really investing in you. Take time to do that. Invest in you. Grow, develop your mind, what you listen to, what you don't listen to. Take advantage of learning things that can help you develop your communication skills. I mentioned about the Michael Wall Show multiple times, not to be self-serving, but there's lots of shows on there, which is me sharing my thoughts and ideas, which has absolutely helped and aided me to create and achieve success in my life. Many of these things I've learned from other people, and I share it freely on that show. Now, one of the things that we're coming out with as well is a course on trading options, and we're doing it in a simple, easy manner to kind of help you better understand how to make good choices around how to trade that. There is risk, but there's a methodical way and a method and process to do it and do it consistently and do it well. That's one of the courses we're going to have as you connect with our show. Make sure you subscribe and like the show so that way you can get that content. But being in a place where you're consistently evaluating your own growth and investing either into you and your own business or investing into some other type of structure that can provide wealth beyond just your income is something that's really, really important in life. Take some time in your life, slow down. Shut your phone off if you need to, if it's a distraction. Don't get your note app out on your phone. Get an actual white sheet of paper. Get a white sheet of paper out and get a pen out. Here you go. Looks just like this. Have you ever seen one of these? It's called a pen. I know most people take notes and they do audio notes in their phones. Not that you can't take an audio note on your phone or use the note app on your phone, but here's what happens. When you use more of your senses, touch, taste, feel, etc., you will actually retain the information and you'll be able to go deeper in thought than you can if you're just utilizing technology. Take some time, blank sheet of paper with your pen or pencil, and I want you to write down, what do I want to achieve in life? And then take some time, think about it. Might take you a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You may have nothing come to mind. That's okay. This isn't like a quick test that you're trying to race to. This is your life. The next thing you want to write down is, what do I enjoy doing? Maybe you love technology. Maybe getting involved in selling technology in some capacity is what you want to do. Maybe you love creating videos and then sell that product to businesses. Maybe you're in a place where you love using your hands. Doing some type of trades work is good for you. There's a lot of money in the trades today. So just think about, what do you enjoy doing? And you may not even fully know that answer either. And then the next thing I want you to write down is, what resources are available right now that can help you grow? One that you can do is read great books. There's a lot of good books out there. Think and Grow Rich is a great book. There's a lot of other books out there that can help you change the way that you think. And then the last thing that I want you to write down is, who do I need to meet? If you feel like you want to grow in this particular industry, who do you need to meet? Or who do you know that knows someone that you need to meet? It's a great question for someone that you know. Who do you know that I need to meet that could help me get to where I want to go? I'll give you a last example on this. So we live down here in the Palm Beach area, and my son is Cyrus. He's 17. He'll be turning 18 upcoming November. This is in 2025 as I'm shooting this. My desire for him was to have a great first job so he could learn how to interact with some of the families and folks that we interact with as well, regardless of what he chooses to do in life. So I wanted to have, if possible, him get a job at the Breakers, which just so happens Paul Leone and Kathy. Paul is the CEO of the Breakers. If you don't know the Breakers, it's a beautiful resort down here in Palm Beach, very exclusive, very high end. So I made a phone call. I made a connection actually with Paul. I said, hey, would you mind if Cyrus, my son, and Paul had met him before, uses you as a reference? Now, Cyrus has already taken the steps to take care of himself. He's a very mature young man. So Paul gladly not only said, yes, you can use me as a reference, the CEO of the Breakers, but he actually himself reached out to HR, and Cyrus, my son, ended up getting a job. It's a beautiful thing. Now he's in a place where he's got training and culture and things that are going to, I think, help grow him in many ways in life. And that goes back to the idea of, who do you know, and who do the people that you know, who do they know that you need to meet? Someone can help you open a door. Now, mind you, you have to be in a situation that you are prepared and you show up presentable. Because the last thing that I'm going to do is make a referral for someone to help them open a door if they're showing up not prepared themselves, if they're showing up in a way that they're not disciplined themselves. These are all things that you need to think about. It's kind of the game of life, and it's how it works. Listen, be well, be blessed, like this show, listen to it again and again and again. Maybe find 2 or 3 people in your group that think like you do. Watch it or listen to it together, make notes together, and use it maybe as your inspiration group to challenge each other to grow into your own individual success. We'll see you at the land of success. It's going to be an amazing time. See you soon.